Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Firestone Walker. I've actually reviewed this one before, but they sent it out again. Limited seasonal release, and it's nice that they're rebrewing this beer because it really is a beer inspired by sustainability, local. And local is one thing when you go to your local brewery, but a lot of ingredients of beer are actually heavily manipulated and come from wildly different places, right? Like hops only from Oregon, and or hops from Europe, and malt from Canada or Europe, or not your state, and then the yeast comes from California or up in Canada, right? They actually use it's called Buddha 12 barley. Developed by UC Davis, which is actually obviously, and then grown in Central Valley, and this 4 malted at Admiral Maltings at Alameda, and then it's salmon safe Willamette hops from Goshi Farms in Oregon. I actually don't know what salmon safe means, but I'll have to look it up. But I assume it means that something about the hops in the production or the growing agriculture of them is not necessarily environmentally friendly. So therefore, we're trying to make it more environmentally friendly. So talking about part of the Brewing for Tomorrow Sustainability Initiative. Let's dig into the beer again. Sorry. Oh, geez, sorry. I had this poured out and let the head die a little bit. So let's dig this guy. Beautiful, nice color. Light gold straw color. Beautiful, intense clarity to that slightly off-white head. Yeah. Nice grainy, also a little bit of this green grassy kind of element to the malt. A little bit of grainy sweetness in there, but definitely a nice kind of full-on grainy husky malt character. Hops are not necessarily too noticeable. Maybe a little bit herbal, a little bit of tea. It smells like a really nice kind of just like a nice lager, but I'm trying to it doesn't necessarily put me in necessarily a place, but it smells like a crafty lager that's not trying to do anything too crazy, not going super into the German realm or Czech realm. It smells like an American craft lager. If I had to guess. Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. A lot more flavor than like a regular macro American lager. Up front, you get a really nice kind of malt character. It's a little bit husky. It's got a little bit of rusticity to it. Rusticity? Anyway, rustic character. There's a chunky, grainy kind of a note. And I want to call grass again. This beer has a nice, noticeable grassy character. I don't know if that's from the hops or the malt, but I think it's from malt. A little bit of just kind of light green grassy character versus generally, you're dominated by grainy character, but so more malt flavors, right? So there's a little bit of this kind of rawness to the beer, which is not necessarily bad. And then a nice kind of a little bit of biscuit, light honeyed sweetness in the middle. Not really too much bitterness, but there's a nice noticeable hop character, a little bit of herbal tea. Mm-hmm. A little bit of sweetness, but a noticeably dry beer. Honestly, golden lager, I would guess this is somebody's attempt at trying to make a craft version of an American lager, right? A craft macro lager, if that makes any sense, right? The brewery's doing that, trying to just here's a beer for the people that drink macro beers, and you're gonna like this way more because it's way more flavorful, brewed locally, and that's what sort of this analogous to. It's very nice. I like it. This is sort of just a standard house beer that probably I'm surprised it's only seasonal. I mean, granted, 805 is their, Firestone Walker's cash cow. A majority of the production of Firestone Walker is actually 805, which is a block. Crazy enough, one of, come to think of it, one of the most, probably one of the most popular craft beers, production wise, that I have never tried. Yeah, because I'm just not in the market for it. And they've never sent me 805, which is crazy. Huh, interesting. Anyway, it's a majority of their production. They just crushed with that brand 805, right? Think of a big brand something crafty, geez, whatever. There's brands out there that sort of leach into the macro lager. A Spotted Cow, there you go, Spotted Cow, New Glarus. This I suspect would do just as well. Granted, I don't know what 805 tastes like, but this is just really tasty American style craft lager. It's good. 83. Firestone Walker Sunglider, fantastic beer. Again, I'm definitely not doing it right, putting this into a Teku. This in a nice, again, one of those like nice pint glasses. Bang, that's where this beer shines. Very good stuff. Thank you so Firestone Walker for sending me this.